Yeah, hi everyone. We have with us Nandish. He is got admission into IIM Calcutta, scoring a 99.92 percentile in the CAT examination. So, Nandish, congratulations. How are you feeling about the same?
So thank you for the congratulations, sir. So yeah, I am very happy. So getting into IMC was a dream for me, and luckily this time it came true also. So yeah, that feeling is yet to be sunk in. So it's more than a month, when the results had come out, but still that feeling has not yet sunk in. So
Okay, so you were also working when you're preparing for the CAT examination, right? So,
yes,
how
sir.
did you manage to balance the two?
Okay, sir. Sir, I actually, I took you have, when I was hearing to one of your lectures where you had said, when you were preparing for CAT, so it is better to have a peer group. So I was very lucky that I had a friend who was, who was also like, who was quite brilliant in the CAT area, and he was very good in those areas where I was especially weak in. So, after office, I would often go to his home and then I would study. So, there was this natural feeling that after office you feel all drained out and you feel all tired. But when I had someone to study with, and that person was also someone who could push you further. So that inspired, that motivated me a lot, and that together with studies and fun, it was mixed. So it never looked like a chore, like a chore for me, and I was able to keep myself motivated.
Oh, great. So, you feel that a group study does help in preparation.
Yes, sir. Because sir, this was my second time. So when I had given the CAT earlier, so when I had given the CAT 2018, so I had focused only on self studies, and I had focused. I didn't have any group as such. And often what used to happen was, like I was weak in DILR. So what happened was when I would analyze, so then I would still not see of a way which I had not thought of. And when I was studying with my friend, often I would see his strategy also, how he attempted the sums, and I was also able to help in those areas where he was weak in. So that helped me in also polishing my strong areas also and developing on my weak areas also. So I definitely felt that studying with a friend, that helped me a lot. And it was also very good stress buster also, because you also had a guy with you, who was knowing all about this journey and struggles. Earlier I would used to tell it to my parents or even to my friends who were not giving CAT, but they couldn't relate to it completely. But a friend who was going through the same journey, through the same process, he could relate to it completely, and that helped a lot. So
Okay, so
I
can
would
it?
agree with you.
Yeah, yes. So can you run us through your journey of preparation? So what did you do in your first year and how did you change in the
All right.
second year?
Okay. So sir, my, like, if I would divide it into two parts. So like my first year, so when I had given CAT 2018. So let me just give a brief background about that. So I had scored a 99.3 percentile in that, and in DILR I had scored a 72 percentile, and in quant I was 99.7, and verbal was 99.6. So DILR was the elephant in the room. And at that time, I had got calls from nowhere except FMS, because everywhere else was a sectional cutoff, and I was not able to convert FMS at that point of time. And so yeah, so regarding to 2018, at that point of time when I had started studying, so often when there was this, let's say, how should I say, I had given around 40 mock tests. So that was I had, but I was not doing the mock test analysis properly. So what I would do is, when I was be just giving, I would be just going through the analysis. Like I would look through it, but not in a very deep manner. I would just skim it from above and would see. And I would also, one important thing which I changed in 2019 was I also started looking at the questions which I had attempted. So in 2018, I would only be focusing on those questions which I had not attempted, and I would again, not get to the method of how to do it fast, and I would be still stuck at those same slow methods, and my scores were pretty volatile. Like verbal and quant were very very stable, but DILR was going all above, all through the, like, sometimes it could go up to very high scores, and sometimes less than 50 percentile also. That was the range which was coming up. And in 2019, I changed it to change it like this. So there was this peer group, and I was very lucky that in my last days I interacted with 2 to 3 people, and they were better than me at this. So that was again a very good advantage for me. And apart from that, I also focused on aim. I also focused on analyzing the mock test which I had given. And now I would, in DILR, I would go through each and every step, whether I had attempted them or not. And like I had also, like you had also told to, keep a record of whatever mocks we had given and what set, what went well, what didn't go well. And I also changed the strategy a little bit. I started, for the first 5 minutes, I would just skim the paper, see the sets which I would find to be nice, like, and then I would, target those first, and then split the paper into 2 rounds. So that was something which I did. And for verbal and quant, it was more like, I just had to maintain my scores. Luckily, I could go above them, because in quant, especially, what happened was like earlier in 2018, I would just start from the first question and then go till the end. But now what I would do was I would just read the question. If I didn't like it, maybe like PNC was a huge disadvantage. It was a big weak point for me. I would immediately leave PNC because there was no point of ego also, like I have to try it or anything. I would skip ahead, but this is just for PNC. Apart in the whole topic of maths, I would only leave PNC. And so yeah, and that's why I was able to attempt like I had got 60 marks, 62 marks in 2018, and that got shot up to 78. But it was again a difficult difference in difficulty of papers also. But that this strategy helped me a lot. I just would read the questions. If I would find it nice, I'd attempt it within 2 minutes, and then I'd go ahead. So yeah.
So you think strategy played a very important role in improving your scores? One of the important parameters. Okay, what do you feel is important? Whether mocks is important or just practicing is important?
Well, I feel it is a very subjective thing, because for me, going into the mocks was a very good strategy, because my basics were quite brushed up. So because even in my 11th, 12th, I used to give a lot of Olympiads, and also that helped to keep my maths and all on a good level. And I also used to read a lot of books and all, and I like reading also. So verbal was also never a problem for me. So for me, going through the mocks was a very good process, because I tried going through the practice sums and everything. But what I found always was that cat like in practicing, there was this no time limit or anything. Like if I had to do 50 questions, I would be doing it in a stretch, like something like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And that time bound never, it was not strictly enforced. But in the mocks, I always liked it, the timer dipping down and down and down, and that always gave the pressure to push myself more. And another thing which I found good in the mocks was, it gave a let's say quantifiable results. Like you knew that how you were performing compared to your peers. And when one of your friends is performing very good, like if I'm just giving you an example, in 2018, even if I would score in the like in the mocks, like something like around 99% or anything like that, I'd be very happy. But in 2019, when I started interacting with my friend, he would get something like 99.5, 99.6, and that would give me a motive, to just go ahead also. So yeah, that was it. And together with help and everything, so
So
for me, it was personally, for me it was more of the mocks part. But again, it depends upon a person to person, because I have many friends who are not yet at that level, for whom that mock is like, let's say, the fundamentals are not that brushed up. So for them, I feel that maybe practicing would be better and then getting.
okay,
So
so
yeah.
how many hours did you give every day for your preparation?
Well, like I was not that disciplined that I used to put in every day. I would not be giving. I One thing which I did quite regularly was I would never skip a mock of any kind, and I would always enjoy. I would also, my weekend would be going into mock and that, and because this time I was very sure that I have just to keep my, I have to improve my DILR, and also I would so in the week, I would spend 2 days on the worksheets which you would have provided, and apart from that, when on Saturday, Sunday, I would start focusing on the mocks. So 2018, yes, I spent a lot of time. So I'd spent during that time because, but in 19, I majorly spent so like around maybe in an, I would spend my weekends definitely. So weekends would go for mocks and everything. For the analysis part, I spent around for a 3 hour paper for 1 hour DILR paper, I would spend 2.5 hours analyzing it. So but I would never analyze verbal. So verbal, I would always, because verbal was good, so I would never analyze it. Quant, I used to analyze 1 hour paper. I would do 1 hour analysis also. So 3.5 hour analysis, and apart from that, I would spend 1 to 2 hours on the worksheet. And so yeah, that would be my preparation. And
So, was it sometime where you felt demotivated during the whole preparation process, and how did you keep yourself motivated?
yes, sir. So there were, sir, I would like to, just quote one of my friends. So in the last week of CAT, so when CAT was on, I think Sunday, and I was giving a mock with my friends. We were giving, we were giving DILR mock, and I still remember I had scored a zero in that mock. He had got 60 marks, and CAT paper was just 4 days away. And at that point of time, I felt like, really, really demotivated. It was like that I still felt it was all 2018 happening all over again. Like verbal and quant is improved, and DILR, it is still at that point. But then, okay, it was like a minor blip because, yeah, then I consoled. I told him also, and he also consoled me a lot regarding this. But then, what I felt was that actually there was an improvement this time, because what used to happen in 2018 was one mock I would give, I would score very good. Second mock I would give, it would may not be that good, and alternate mocks were happening like that. It was a very volatile time. But in 2019, this volatility was very less. So I slowly and slowly gained confidence. And sometimes, yes, when those scores would come low, so then I would spend, instead of 2.5 hours, I'd spend 3.5 hours. Like I would try to analyze why, what happened. Maybe sometimes, see, there were two errors. Maybe I couldn't have found the easier set, or the second part was the set which I was doing. I spent a lot of time on that. So tackle, I tried to break down my issue into these two subcategories, and then I would go ahead. So that was it for me. I like,
Okay. So,
and I luckily had supporting folks also at home, like my mom and dad. They were also really helpful, and I had a good, uh, friend circle also, who were there to motivate me also. So that worked.
so what do you do in the last few days before the exam?
So the last few days before the exam, I used to give a 3 hour mock daily,
Okay.
and I also, yeah, I, because like like I just felt I had to be in that. Especially my slot was 2:30 to 5:30, and that's my sleeping time. So I feel very dozy around, I like drowsy around that time, and that's why, I wanted me to, I always kept myself pushing that I'll be giving a mock in this time. So, and so that could be, so the last week was like this only. I would give a mock, I would analyze it, and so one mock of 3 hours and three individual sectional tests of 1 hour. So that was my 6 hours of daily work which I used to do.
And did you write the exam mock one day before the exam too?
One day before, sir, in 2018, I had written, I remember that perfectly. But in 2019, there was this big argument between my mom and me. My mom wanted me to write it because she also wanted that confidence, that I finally bet DILR. And I was arguing that I'll not give. Frankly, I don't remember if I had written the last day. I'd written the second last day. So I'd written on
But you
Friday. I'm not sure about Saturday.
but you
But
remember the
I had
argument.
written, yeah, I remember the argument. So there was this huge discussion which went on in home that I should give it, I shouldn't give it. So I am just not sure. But I'd given the sectionals. I remember that. I'm not sure about the mock.
So how
So,
did the D-Day go, the day of the exam? What panned out during the exam?
uh, sir, luckily, what happened was I had the second slot, and I had seen your video which you had posted, and I remember in the car, I was going, and then you told like verbal is tough, and then I was like, I started telling my mom and dad, yes, verbal tough hai, matlab mera time aa gaya hai, because verbal was my strong point, and I was really happy that, if verbal is tough, I was like, okay, then chalo, that's a good start to the paper. So verbal was really tough, and at that point of time, yes, I was like, okay, maybe I was, biting more than I could chew at that point of time. Luckily, that when I could hold my nerve, yeah, then DILR came up, and DILR was the critical point. So DILR, just I thought, okay, let's treat it as a normal mock exam only, and then I did the same thing only. I spent the first 5 minutes, searching through the paper, and I remember what had happened was I had attempted 12 questions, and what happened was, yeah, and then if you would remember, I was in the slot too, so there was this question which was regarding rainfall of different states, and this bar this graph
Graph.
question, and
Yes.
I had, sir, not seen it. I had seen graph. I had an aversion to DI part. I love LR, although I am not able to solve LR that much, but I still love LR. So I had not seen that question, and I was like, okay, now there is only 15 minutes left, and still what to do. And luckily I saw that question and I was able to do it. So that was a very, very lucky part, because I would have kicked myself really hard if I had left that question. So yeah, so 16 to 18 questions I attempted around, yeah, I attempted 18 questions in DILR, 15 3. Yeah, I attempted around 18 questions. And then quant came. So quant was again that, quant was nothing to worry about. So because quant and verbal, I was quite chill.
Mm.
And just the DILR part was the thing.
Okay.
And
So
my parents also, when I came out of the center, so they were not asking about the whole paper. They just asked, how was DILR? So they didn't ask about verbal and quant also.
so,
Later they asked you,
so did you
yeah.
expect a 99.92 anytime? No,
No,
not at
sir.
all.
So not at all, sir. So frankly, so what I still remember, I had scored around 160, 160 last year. So my mom and me, we would be like devising those perfect scores. So she was like, okay, you just do now, you like maintain your verbal and quant score and just improve your DILR score by 20 marks. You'll get around 180, and 180 means like 99.757, and that would be really nice. And I would be also like, yeah. It's really good. And I don't know how I managed to, because I was not expecting. I was thinking that my verbal and quant was at its peak. Luckily, I was able to improve on those both also, and DILR also I managed to improve. So instead of a 20 score margin, shot it to 40 score margin. So it went up to 200 plus.
Oh,
So
great.
yeah. So everyone was surprised.
Okay. Any tips that you'd want to give to students?
So, any tips? So first of all, I would I would advise everyone to, like, if they feel alone in this journey. So there are many points when there you can feel low, and maybe let's say your mocks are not getting up to that scale or anything like that. So then at that point of time, I feel it is better to reach out to people who are especially in this area. So it could be friends, it could be you or ma'am, it could be anyone. So or their mentor figure, they should reach out to them and talk with it, because if you are alone and then it goes into a negative loop, so that can be even worse. And I feel that's why I bombed DILR in 2018, because I was very scared. I was not sure what is going to happen and all. But in 2019, when I interacted with people a lot and I realized that many are at that stage, so that was one part, interacting with people. Apart from that, if you get the opportunity to study with people who are better than you should definitely grab that opportunity with both the hands, because studying with them, you will often get the opportunity to look at things from a new angle, and from those angles which you would have never even thought of before, and you can use the strategy in other exams and everything in other parts of life also. So that is something, a second. And apart from that, yeah, if they are doing, yeah. And a third part which I would feel anyone is that they should give their mocks quite regularly. Like many people I have seen, they'll be scared to give their first mock because they're like, okay, we have not done the syllabus and anything. But I just like to remind everyone that maths is all about stuff which is till the class 10th or max 12th. So there's no calculus also and anything, and simple interest and compound interest. So you don't actually need a syllabus or something to, and DILR, there are no formulae as such, and same goes for verbal. So no grammar rules also. So you can any day give the first mock, and it is important to give the mocks and analyze them. because people, what often they do, they just keep on studying, and then they keep on delaying that mock. Finally, like I was saying, so when people start attempting their first mocks in August, September, by that time maybe the toppers and everything, they would have been revising their mocks or have been going through the 10th or the 12th mock. So that's why that gap starts coming in there. So in short, I would like to say, like, if you any tips, so three major tips would be: if you are feeling down, and it is obviously natural to feel down, contact anyone. And for any cat aspirants, if you want to contact, you can even contact me, so I'm available on LinkedIn also. Like, yeah sir, it helps actually, contacting a person who has gone through the same process. Like ma'am had given me contacts of ex coin students also, and I had contacted them shamelessly, and they had helped me a lot. So that's what I'm telling, and it really, and during the interview process also. So that is the first thing. And apart from that, second, yes, if you have a peer group, if you manage to get a peer group, definitely go into that. And third, I feel, is giving your mocks uh, sincerely, and give it from the start. Don't worry about the scores. Just, try to beat your own records, and just keep going forward. So that would be my three
Perfect.
tips.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Nandish. Thanks for the time that you're given, and all the best for your I am Calcutta Joka, which is
Thank
great.
you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. And I would also like to thank you and ma'am for, motivating me throughout, and for conducting all the, like, for answering my doubts whenever I would have and everything. So thank you very much,
Thanks. I'm
both
most
you
welcome.
and